Whenever we talk about low-carb diets, invariably we run into this claim that carbohydrates are an essential nutrient in a human diet. But that is a myth. There are essential amino acids or proteins, there are essential fatty acids or fats that we have to consume or otherwise we'll die because our body can't manufacture them by themselves, but there's absolutely no such thing as an essential carbohydrate. Now, the strongest argument for this claim so far has been that our brain can't function properly without glucose. And in fact, it needs about 100 grams of glucose every single day. Now, the interesting thing about that number is that in a way it's true, but it's also false. Let me explain. So when you eat a lot of carbohydrate, it is true that your brain will burn about 120 grams of glucose. However, when you go into ketosis and you produce a lot of ketones, your body switches its fuel from glucose to ketones. And it will still require a little bit of glucose, but it will mostly run on ketones. So instead of 120 grams of glucose, it may need only 50, maybe 40, maybe 30, depending on your level of activity and other factors like that. So most people eating a low-carb diet or a very low-carb diet will get those carbs, those 30 or 50 grams for their diet. But even if you didn't, even if you ate zero carbohydrates, as some people do, your liver has stored glycogen so it can release glucose throughout the day and supply your brain as much glucose as it possibly needs. And if that's not enough, if you somehow burn through your glycogen stores and those are not sufficient, you can burn protein. You can convert protein by the process of glucogenesis into glucose. So there is absolutely no requirement for consuming any carbohydrates throughout your life. We only eat them because we like them and they make us feel good. There are whole tribes that have not eaten carbohydrates throughout their history, like the Maasai in Africa or the Inuit. And they're fine, they're as healthy as everyone else. Eating carbohydrates is a choice, and some people can handle a lot of carbohydrates and their health does not deteriorate. And on the other end of the spectrum, some people can't handle any carbohydrates because once they trigger their brain release of serotonin, they crave more and more and more, and they just can't handle that sugar load that is associated with eating those carbs. And so it is a better idea for them to just switch to a zero or a low carb diet. So that's carbs. They're not an essential nutrient, and if someone tries to tell you otherwise, just show them this video.